Hello everybody, we're going to be painting this beautiful whale shark on cotton paper today. So the first thing you want to do is just sketch out your whale shark. So I just looked up an image on the internet of what a whale shark looks like. By the way, this image was inspired by Gabby, I think the name was. Either way, I will link her in the description when I figure out what her full username is. So credit goes to her for the inspiration behind this painting. So once you've sketched out your whale shark, just taking into account the fins, the dorsal fin, is that what this is called? Sorry, I'm not too familiar with the linguistics behind these animals. The kind of tail fins as well, so just keep all of that in mind. And then we're going to grab our paintbrush and we're going to be using different colors or different hues of blue. No, I do not know the names of the colors that I am using. I don't think it's important, and I never have, and I say this in all my videos. If you have a blue, you can make it work. It doesn't matter if it's marine blue or aqua blue or whatever names of blues there are. So I just took some blue and I mixed it with black to give me this very deep, dark blue color. And I'm just going to be applying it to my entire whale. And because this is cotton paper, we have the time to tweak things and lift color off and make mistakes. So if you don't have cotton paper, that's okay. This is definitely achievable without cotton paper. I have painted without cotton paper for almost all of my tutorials, so don't get too hung up if you do not have cotton paper. We are going to be adding certain highlights to our whale, so it doesn't really matter too much at this point where you put the highlights because we're going to be altering it in a bit. Right now you just want to make sure that you get the blue onto your piece of paper. And we want a lot more black in there. Sometimes I mix on the actual painting itself. I know that's probably frowned upon in the painting community. So you can get a head start on the shading. We are going to be making the bottom portion of the whale a little bit darker. That's where we're going to add a lot of our shading. If you want to wait and do that after, that's fine as well. So the tail of our shark is, I keep saying whale and shark interchangeably, but I've kind of created this little section here that's going to be much lighter because we want that to be the flip side of the tail fin. Feel free to grab a more detailed brush for this part. I just I'm comfortable with the size 14 that I'm using, and I also don't feel like digging through all my paintbrushes for the larger brush, or sorry, for the thinner brush, the liner brush. And you just, so these two tail portions here, I'm gonna make this a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. We do want to make them stand out a little bit. So we are painting these a little bit darker and adding some dark highlights coming from them. And we are going to have a highlight of the fin here. I really need to look up what the name of it is. I don't think it's dorsal fin. For some reason that sounds like it's supposed to be underneath, not at the top, but you can basically add some dark blue there and then just lift off the center with a paintbrush, you know, and then dab it on a paper towel and just keep doing that until you're happy with the highlight of that fin. I'm gonna add a little bit more darkness right beside it to sort of make it look like there's a shadow coming from it. So I am just going to now at this point in the process darken this part of my whale. I do want it to be much more intense than the top part in relation to the piece of paper. Just gonna and because I'm using cotton paper here, that it's still, the pigment underneath is still a little bit wet, so it's allowing it to very naturally bleed into the background, or into the rest of the body of the whale. And to prevent the cauliflower effect, even though we're keeping the top part much lighter, we do want to go over it again, just so the colors fade seamlessly into one another. So again, we're making sure that we're keeping these fins here much darker, and when we drag that darker pigment into the body of the whale, it naturally spreads out and makes it look 3D. So here you can see our little part where we wanted to define the fin. It has faded again, so we're just going to again lift off the pigment and then wipe our brush against a paper towel, and then just repeat this process a couple of times, and we're probably going to have to do it a couple more just because the cotton paper really likes to blend nicely, so that is probably going to, see, it's already doing it. So you just have to keep lifting off every once in a while just to get, to maintain that highlight of the fin there. So now we're just going to do the two side fins here. You could have just done that at the very beginning, honestly, because this one is going to be as dark as the body, or at least part of it is. But sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of separation, the fin from the body. I do like to move my piece of paper around quite a bit. It's just a lot easier to achieve some of the details when you can have your piece of paper at a specific angle, so feel free to do the same. Okay, and so what we have remaining here are these two pieces on the bottom tail portion. So I'm going to just zoom in again so you have a better view of that area. We're just going to be painting this on as light as we can. And then on the other side as well. So when your whale shark is completely dry, we're going to start the fun part, at least in my opinion. This is what really makes it look like a whale shark and gives it that distinct look. And we're going to be using white acrylic paint for the highlights for this portion. And we're going to be applying a lot of dotting to our whale shark. So at first we want to apply our dots in uniform lines that stretch from one side of the shark to the other, making sure to follow the natural curve of the shark. And then we can flick on some more later on, but right now we just want to apply kind of the base dotting. So the easiest thing for me at least is just to apply kind of the main shape of the lines first and then fill them in with the little itty bitty dots afterwards. And the dots don't have to be perfect. If they're imperfect, I think that actually makes it look a lot more realistic. For some of your lines, you don't have to kind of make them opaque all the way across. You can taper them off as you get to the center of the whale, and this might actually add a really nice 3D look to the whale because it kind of makes it look like this, the middle part is the highest point, which in reality it should be. So feel free to vary where you place your dots. It doesn't have to be exactly like I'm doing it either. And you can see that when I place the dots on the fins, I'm not continuing that perfectly angled half circle sort of shape that I'm trying to dot them in. I'm flaring them out to the left a little bit first on the bottom fin because it goes from a rounded surface to a flat surface. So just keep that in mind when you're painting, when you're dotting the fins. You definitely don't want to paint dots over our little highlighted fin there. So that would be a good place to stop that, or to leave the middle portion undotted. And as we move towards, I suppose, the second half of the whale, we're going to try and straighten our dots a little bit and then angle them the other way. So we've been kind of painting this really nice arch that faces towards the left, and as we get towards the center, we're going to start angling that arch towards the right. And this is going to make the whale look much more 3D in shape. So this one I'm going to try and paint almost straight across. And then this line, I'm going to start very slightly angling it the other way, so towards the right. And with each subsequent line, it's going to be angled more and more to the right. So here I'm just, you can't really see it because it's off camera, but I'm watering down some acrylic paint. And now I'm just going to tap it gently against a paintbrush onto my whale, which will add very natural looking dots to the whale. Like so. That's basically it for our whale shark. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, check out my previous videos, and I will see you in the next one.